What up, dudes? It's Gaz, and welcome back to the Warframe video. So, I've been playing a lot of Warframe recently, especially with that special Wolf Tenno alert. I probably farmed that about 800 times on the exact same frame the entire time throughout. So, yeah, I'm taking a break from playing Titania at this point, as she is the best speedrun frame. So I've been messing with some other fun builds for quickly going through fissures against low-level enemies. And today I'll be showing you my Thermal Sunder Harrow build I've been using quite a bit recently, since I'm just kind of burnt out in playing Titania. So we'll be going over that today. Hope you enjoy these types of videos. We do build videos, news videos, farming strategy videos, all that kind of stuff on this channel, all involving Warframe, so make sure you're subbed if you're not already. They're daily uploads, and also check out the live stream channel. I'll probably be live later tonight with some Warframe, messing with this Bronco incarnate on it, because I actually kind of like this Bronco incarnate, so come stop by. Alright, let's hop into the build overview. Now, I'm just going to let you know, this build is not meant for high-level Steel Path enemies. This build is meant for Fissure-level enemies on non-Steel Path. So we're talking like level 60 and under. So what we've got right here, we got the Thermal Sunder ability removed from Gauss and put on to Harrow. In combination with the third ability, Thurable, every time we get a kill, we will restore energy to ourselves and allies. That's actually going to work. Usually this is balanced out by Harrow not having any DPS abilities. We have the Thermal Sunder DPS ability from Gauss, so we can use this to kill enemies, and then those kills count for our third ability, which gives us energy restore on kills. So very, very nice combination right there. We can also get some shields from our Condemn in case we don't have any shields for some reason. And if one of our teammates is using a gun or something, we can also use penance to give them some lifesteal. So let's get into it. Now, the big thing here is we're going for a bunch of range. Now, these arcanes don't actually matter here, as we will have infinite energy. The big thing here is just to be able to cast our abilities with as much range as possible. I'm going to get some gameplay on here just so we can, get it. There's not much to go over, as it's not really an endurance Steel Path build. The big thing here is just we're using Thermal Sunder, and there's a couple features you do want to change to make it as easy as possible. One of those being that you do want to make sure that you have a little bit of casting speed on here, just because casting Thermal Sunder is a little bit slow. Additionally, go into your control settings, and since we're using an ability from Gauss, go to your tap, invert, hold, and go to Gauss, and then put on inverted. This will make it where you use the heat version of Thermal Sunder just by tapping the button. There's a heat version, there's a cold version. Heat damage is better than cold. We're also using a Archon mod to give double heat procs, so you definitely want to be on the heat version as much as possible. So this is what you can expect when you load into mission. You're just going to use your 3 a little bit, get a little bit built up, and then just start pushing the Thermal Sunder button. All the enemies are going to get nuked down. As you can see on the right side of the screen, we're getting energy per kill. That's why Energized and Steadfast are not needed here. But, I decided to put them on there anyway. If you're not using Energized and Steadfast, which, again, I said you don't need to have them, you can just fund something like Molt Augmented, Molt Efficiency, whatever arcane you want to throw on there. It's not going to, you could even go with no arcane if you really wanted to. The big thing here is you just want to make sure that you are casting abilities as fast as possible, you have as much range as possible, and additionally, you could even go with Matarai Focus School for 40% more power strength, but as you can see, for normal non-Steel Path enemies, we can nuke them down no problem anyway. You'll probably be casting about 1 or 2 Thermal Sunders per room with this build. Our radius is 31 meters, 31.8 meters with this build. And remember as well, when you're in a fissure mission and you pick up all the reactant, you have a chance that one of your items will become corrupted, giving it increased stats. If your Warframe becomes corrupted, it gets double power strength and double ability range. So you can only imagine how ridiculous that would be with a build like this. We'll be getting a 62, or rather a 63 meter range, which is bigger than most rooms in this game. Like, for example, this extraction room is definitely not 61 meters across. So, very nice there. And as far as what you should be using alongside this, I'm actually going to recommend, taking that fissure buff into account we were just talking about. Some things you can do. You can actually unequip a bunch of your weapons to make it where you're more likely to get that corruption buff on your frame. So I normally just have the Praetos equipped. I was just using the Bronco because I've been messing with it recently. But if you just have your frame and your melee, it's a 50-50 chance your frame will get the corruption buff for double range, giving us our 63 meter Thermal Sunder. So some things you could definitely change off on the build. You might notice I don't have a maxed out Prime Flow. You could definitely just put a normal flow on there if you don't have a Prime Flow level 7 like me, which is super random, I know. And that's going to be fine. You're going to lose a little bit of energy, but it's whatever. As you get maximum energy after you nuke down a room, let's leave that on there for now. So yeah, Archive Vitality gives you double heat procs. That's why it's really important to have that inverted cast. they'll be getting heat procs just by you tapping the button once. Now, if I was to change this build in the future, some things I would change, I would probably make it where I could fit a little bit more capacity on here and change my Steel Charge Aura mod to Enemy Radar, or even Corrosive Projection even. The reason I want Enemy Radar is just so I can know where the enemies are through the wall even easier, so I can nuke them down even faster. And the reason you run Corrosive Projection is because it can remove enemy armor, making it where maybe instead of 2 casts on some of these enemies, it just takes 1 cast to kill them. But Steel Charge is totally fine. It gives you some of the most capacity in the game. And yeah, we could definitely, switch some things up here, maybe a normal continuity, a normal flow, as I stated. But yeah, overall it works really, really well. Not meant for Steel Path. And also, we've got the Praetos equipped. It's a Incarnate weapon from Zeramon. This gives us increased sprint speed and slide, and increased parkour velocity at all times. It's not like the new Incarnons, which require like a 6x multiplier. We always have this. So this is the best speed stat stick in the game for a build like this. So since we have a 50-50 chance, we'll be mostly getting our Harrow buff to give us massive, massive range. And if the Praetos gets buffed, whatever. We can still kill the enemies in the mission anyway without the, without abilities, to be honest. So very nice. This is nice for speed running. And of course, as I stated earlier, it's not as fast as Gauss. Harrow has no speed buffs. The reason, the things Harrow's doing here that makes this good is it's giving you infinite energy. It's very infinite energy, as you can see on the right side of the screen. And it's just, Harrow looks cool. So there's a couple reasons right there. The biggest thing is the energy restore. Harrow's passive does basically nothing here. He has like increased overshield cap. These enemies are low level, so it really just comes down to just run to the end of the mission as fast as possible while pushing the 4 button. Now, additionally, if you'd like to use Thermal Sunder in other places, like Elite Sanctuary Onslaught, I'd recommend subsuming off Harrow's first ability instead of Harrow's 4th ability. And the reason for that is, in Elite Sanctuary Onslaught, you can have your abilities disabled quite often if you're spamming them. The first ability does not get disabled, though. That's why Korra is pretty good in Elite Sanctuary Onslaught, and that's why you would subsume over Harrow's 1 instead of Harrow's 4, because you don't want to get locked out of your 4, as the Helmet ability is over your 4 instead of your 1 on this build. But, for lots of cases, having your Harrow chains ready to go from overshields is quite nice. You definitely don't want to be dying in a Fissure mission, do you? So that's basically it for the build overview. I'm just going to go over everything at the end here just to make sure you guys are fully aware. So we got Harrow with a range-focused build. Not much strength on here, but if you want to you can definitely get that strength up there if you if you were to take off one of these arcanes like Bolt Augmented. Keep in mind you're not killing that many enemies in the mission, so you'll be getting about 5% power strength out of this. But you could go with something else. Like there's other strength arcanes too. So if you're willing to cast like an operator build at the beginning of the mission, go for it, I guess. This buff will apply to your 3rd ability, give you more energy back. But I usually just go for about 20 or 30 energy and then just start spamming Thermal Sunder in the first place. The Praetos, the build does not matter, actually, at all. Just the Incarnons matter. You can go with Dispatch Override if you ever do a heavy attack hit. 60% increased movement speed for 15 seconds. If you actually do bother to use this, that will give you more movement speed, technically. And our focus tree is Matarai. It doesn't really matter, but the reason you would go Matarai is for Sling Strength. Switching to Warframe after Chain Sling adds 40% ability strength for 20 seconds. Gives you more ability strength for your energy restore and for your Thermal Sunders. And the companion is going to be whatever you want to bring. I have Count Kirby for doubled up Void Traces most of the time, or sometimes rather. And then if you don't want to bring Smedacat, which I highly recommend, there's things like the Helios to scan things. There's the Panzer to keep you alive if you're having some survivability issues, which you shouldn't have here. And yeah, for the rest of that, we're just pretty much waiting on the rework. So that's basically it for the video, guys. Hope you guys find it fun and helpful. It is definitely not meant for Steel Path. If you want to go Steel Path with this, you're going to need Armor Strip. You're going to want some Roar, like the Roar ability from Rhino, too. So not meant for Steel Path. Additionally, these shards right here are casting speed shards. Only 2 of them, just to make it where natural. Because I had natural talent on the build before. I want to take natural talent off for a little bit more range. That's why I put on 2 casting speed shards. It's not needed. A lot of this stuff is just a little bit overkill, especially the energy stuff right here. But I just want to show you what I'm using, and you can customize it to your liking. All right, guys, I'll see you next time. Appreciate the support, and peace.